Hey, Evan, can you hear me?
I can. I can.
Oh, great, great, great. How are we doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Just going to be the two of us today?
Yep. Yep.
Awesome, awesome. I'm assuming you can see my screen, everything okay?
I can. Yep.
Awesome. Um, just kind of a brief roadmap, the way we like to go through this today, Evan. Um, First, kind of get us started here. We'll do pain points. Really, if I remember correctly, you guys are making the migration to Service Titan. You're looking for a price book, if I have that correct here.
Yes.
Awesome. So that really kind of tells us what we need to know there. Introduction was easy. We've already kind of taken care of that as well here. So really demonstration. I'm going to bring the iPad right up on the screen. We're going to look at everything right inside of Service Titan, just as your tech is going to see it, your customer, everybody's going to see it in the field. That way you know it's how it's going to sit, how it's going to work. And then we'll jump here in the web portal and we'll look how you make all your customization as far as changing your pictures, your parts prices, doing all that stuff. We'll do questions the entire time here, and then we'll get you back to your day here. So
Okay.
before we get started, just any questions on your part, anything you expecting to see today, you want to make sure we touch before we get started, Evan?
I'm really just going through, what it looks like in Service Titan, and then how we go about, modifying some of the items that either we want to show, don't want to show, or, you know, we sit on the border of two states. So one, repair-based items will be non-taxable, and in the other they will be taxable. So just wondering if there's a good way to discern between those two within Profit Rhino.
Um,
We charge the same amount. It's just a matter of taxable or non-taxable.
Sure, sure. And we're gonna look at that. We could actually do that in Profit Rhino. I do know for a fact that Service Titan will actually do that. Their geolocator will be able to tell where you are and charge the appropriate amount of tax. So just a heads up, maybe something you want to revisit with your Service Titan rep. I know that's something that'll
Sure.
do. And
Well, and yeah, and I've gone over the tax zones that they have. They're assigned by zip code, so the amount of the tax isn't quite the issue. It's just whether or not we do charge tax for that individual item.
perfect,
Because
perfect.
there's anything that's considered a real property improvement won't be taxed, and then in Minnesota, anything that is a repair will not be taxed either.
Perfect.
Where in Wisconsin it will be taxed.
So absolutely. And what we can do there, again, a simple solution on our end is we'll just duplicate the book. That's usually the solution we'll use there. And just in Minnesota, in one state you touch the book that's named after that state, in the other state you touch that book. They're both exactly the same. They're just taxed at different rates. So
Right,
again,
and that's exactly how we have our price book that we've created on our end. We have a Minnesota folder and a Wisconsin folder. So that's how we would do it if we weren't to, use Profit Rhino or another solution.
so yeah, and I think that's just probably the simplest way, to avoid a complicated problem is setting it up
Sure.
that way. So we can definitely take a look at that stuff here. That being said, we're going to jump right in Service Titan here. Now, are you guys using Service Titan currently? Are you onboarding now? Do you have a go live date? Where are you in that process, Evan?
Yeah, we are onboarding and we have the go live date of June 7th.
Okay, so you're about a month away. So you're kind of getting into
Yep,
that
we're
into that
Friday was our
crunch time.
Friday was our first phone call with them for the implementation process.
So exciting and nerve wracking all at the same time. So
Yeah, we've got to put all the pieces together.
yep, yep. You're probably very familiar with this screen. See if I can orientate it a little better for us here. Sorry to make you dizzy. This is your dashboard. The only reason I'm hitting this is I just like to be very clear. We are providing all your pricing information, the images, upsells, cross sells, everything we look at today. As we book this job, dispatch ourselves, arrive, all this is functions of Service Titan. And once we go and put whatever it is we put on the invoice, again, we're going back into that Service Titan world. I just like to really kind of stop and make sure we know there's a line in the sand there. And if I need to go ahead and refer you a question back to Service Titan, just keep in mind that, again, I don't want to speak out of turn, regarding their product. It's just going to be a functionality of them. So
Sure.
with my speech all said and everything, let's jump right in here. We're just going to jump right into the price book and just start poking around a little bit here. This is the home screen of the price book. Really, the big things here to notice, obviously, is the images. Evan, we do have over 1,900 custom images in the book here, all of which can be updated, changed, cropped, and unlimited images added by you as well. Sorry, give me just a second. They have your name as Even in your folder here.
That's been happening quite a bit lately.
I keep looking at it. It's driving me nuts. I had to stop and change it here. So sorry about that.
That's all right.
But the other big thing here is the view. We can customize this view. So if you guys aren't doing plumbing, you're not doing electrical, drain cleaning, we can turn all these books off. So your guys only see what they need to see. Really sounds like housekeeping, but the easier we can make it for these guys, this more streamlined, the less mistakes they're going to have, the faster they're going to use it, and all that is going to transfer into a better experience for the customer. Also, depending on how you want to do that, I know Service Titan will allow you to put your guys in different buckets. So we can have a group of guys that has one view and a group of guys that has another view. Again, just the easier you can make it for your guys, the faster, more streamlined we can do it. And we can do this at all the subcategory levels as well. If we go in the heating book, really, we're going to ask ourselves, first of all, the most obvious question is, what kind of heating system am I looking at? Again, if you guys aren't doing oil heat, we can turn oil heat off. You guys never see it. Wrong motors, belts, things don't get added to the jobs here. Again, the way we have it broke down, we want to ask ourselves a few very simple, easy questions to get us to the job we want to do as fast as possible. Again, the most obvious question is, what kind of heating system? I was going to forced hot air. That seems to be the most common across the country. And then what am I working on the system? You're going to do something with blowers, controllers, valves, sparkers. Your vents and your filters are down here, your ductwork as well. One of these is going to fit the job you're looking at this system today. You hit the blower wheels and motors. Again, this is where I think your images start to take hold. If your guy needs a direct drive, belt drive, heat exchangers, pulleys, brackets, capacitors, it's very simple for you guys to find this stuff, look through everything as well. Also, again, something that's meant to be customer facing. Your customer is going to be, feel involved with the process, feel a little more secure about the process. And also, you'll find people are much more willing to buy something if they can see a picture of it. Mrs. Jones has no idea what this capacitor is, what it does, but the fact that she can see a picture of it just is that more tangible for them to spend the money on it, which is really
cool. And if you can provide them a couple of different choices, it'll make them feel like they chose to get that repair done rather than just being billed for it.
Being told what they need to have done. Exactly. Let's make them feel like they're in control here, right? So I was just jumping this blower motor here. The image, any image you touch will always go full screen. Blower motors, not so much. Probably when you get into thermostats, things with aesthetics, customers are going to give or care a little bit more about the aesthetics, what it looks like there. Also, you're going to find an image with almost every single product as well. This is not for your tech. If your tech needs us to change a blower motor, Pricebook is for your problems today. But when the customer wants to know, why is this a $600 job, you can kind of explain to them what the system is, what it does, what's entailed with taking it apart and putting it back together, and it's meant to put some value in that job. Ease the customer's feelings about the paying to do this job, and again, just make the customer tech situation better. I promise the one I send you will say flame sensor, not flame sensor. And then again here along the top, we're just seeing what we call the tech description. Again, a brief description, make sure your guy's pulling the right part, pull an ECM motor, direct drive motor, whatever it may be here. Quantity, pretty self-explanatory again there. And then the pricing. You guys are doing some sort of service agreement program, planned maintenance program, I'm assuming. And probably if you're like everybody else, your guys don't sell it as good as you want them to, right?
Well, we don't, we offer discounts off of the service aspect, but we don't offer anything off of like the repair side of things. We want to do that in the future. We just haven't had a real great way of managing some of this, so that's why Service Titan is the solution that we're going for.
Yep.
So we'll have our standard labor rates and markups on the average cost of a third horsepower 115 volt blower motor, and then that'll be the price that we want to offer it at. We'd have regular time and then overtime. I think the overtime rate will probably be a fee assessed to that standard rate. but that'll all be done within ServiceTitan.
Okay.
So I don't think we'll have a member price on ours.
It's just something that's toggled on and off. We can actually support 3 different prices through our price book. If you want to have a member price, a standard price, then the third is usually used, exactly for your nights, weekends, emergency off hour stuff. So again, kind of up to you how you want to set it up. Everything's on a toggle or not on a toggle. We like to put it there for kind of a point that you alluded to earlier. We want the customer to start this conversation. When the customer asks us, how do I save this $90? What is the service agreement plan? They feel like it's something they initiated. They feel it's their question, their purchase. It's not a sales pitch coming from tech. So that's kind of the purpose we put it there. Again, you'll find here pretty much everything is customizable. So that can just be turned on and off with a toggle if you just want to show one price for the customer there.
Okay. And for the overtime, you said you could support 3 different prices. So we could put in a different labor rate for the overtime rate.
Absolutely. Yep. We'll look at that in the back. So say we're billing, your normal rate at 200, we can set it up to bill your overtime at 250. Or like you said, if you want to just create a task here that we put on here, emergency hours call, it's a flat $200 fee. We can set that up too, and then just put a task on and it'll charge a labor rate or, your regular task price. Plus we'll just add that $200 fee if that's how you want to set it up as well. Again, everything's customizable here, so kind of the sky's the limit when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, you're talking 200 and 250. I wish we could charge that much where we're at. That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Anyways.
So moving on. Down here, the description, we have the tech description again. Second line is always what we call the secondary description, and this is just telling your tech a little bit more about what's going on here. This one is saying that this actually includes the belt already. Also recommended we should add a new pulley. Again, it's just going to tell your tech a little bit more about what they need to know here. And then down here is what I call what we call the customer description. I always like to say it's what the customer is going to care about, not us. It's going to talk about what this is, what it does, why it can wear out. It's got aesthetics. I'll talk about the look. Again, what your consumer is going to care about, not really what you or your tech or anybody's going to care about. And then lastly, down here, we have this MPT. This is minutes per task. It's set at 90 minutes. You've done your research already, I can tell. We have an hourly bill out rate set in the back. We have a parts markup, and we're really doing time material in the back end. We're just pushing it out here on the platform as a flat rate. So this is where we're getting that time to bill off of. Also, so you're aware, every single task has extra time built in for sales, service, setup, that stuff. So you're paid for your customer-facing time, not just your wrench time. So really, this takes 60, 65 minutes to do. We're going to charge them that extra time for that stuff here. If you guys don't want to do that, or a lot of times if you sell them something secondarily, you want to take that time off, this add-on switch will take that time off and only charge actual wrench time. You can see here the price has dropped. Again, up to you if you want to use that, how you want to use that. Just keep that in mind as well there.
Oh, gotcha. So if you charge the kind of the full price for the first part, and then charge it as an add-on for the second part.
Exactly. You've already charged them 15, 20 minutes for your sales setup, your extra time there. So, to do the right thing for the customer, you want to charge it as an add-on item. Also, if this is in front of the customer to try and sell something, imagine the power. Oh, I'm already here, Mrs. Jones. Since I'm already here, I can give you a discount there, and they can just see 50, 60, whatever you guys have, just fall off the price in front of them. It becomes very powerful in their mind to say, oh, I really am getting a good deal today. Maybe I should take advantage.
I will get my condensate, repaired rather than waiting, or my vent pipe, or, whatever it is.
And your guys can even let them know that, if we have to come back in 6 months, this is going to cost you another $80. So let's just do it while we're here today kind of thing and get it done. Okay. And you'll find it's a really powerful way. Some people just can't resist a deal. I'm the kind of guy that goes to the grocery store and see something on sale, 5 for $1. Well, I already have 6 in the cabinet, but it's such a good deal. How can I pass it up? And then I just have tons of crap I don't ever need. So it'll really work cool like that for you guys. So next thing I want to show you is some of the upsells, cross-sells, that kind of thing we're going to look at here today. At the bottom is what we have recommended services. Before we get in here, I fully understand that these are not upgradable options to this blower motor. Just kind of put them in here for visuals today. But anytime we can upgrade to another option, really in the HVAC world, I always use thermostats as your most common thing here. That old round Buckeye thermostat's on the wall. There's nothing wrong with it. The heat's going to come on, the air is going to come on, but you want to sell them a nice programmable Honeywell, some kind of Wi-Fi and Nest, something that you're going to make a lot more money on. That's where we're going to put it down here and just let the customer know they have options. People love choices. Again, you referred to it already. Let them think they're making the decisions here. And you'll find out people are super indecisive. They don't think they should buy the cheapest one, little round one. Probably they don't need to buy a Nest, but they're going to end up buying, that nice Honeywell in the middle. Well, if we can get them to that middle one, every time or most every time, that's a win for us. You know what I'm saying? To get them off that cheap.
Right.
One. So just a nice way.
And all of our techs know, how to kind of walk people through their choices and the features on a lot of this stuff, but they don't know what it costs. So that's where we end up getting inquiries back to the office while the technician has left already. We need to follow up with the customer to have another stop instead of just having this information at the fingertips of the technician.
Exactly.
And being able to say, hey, I got one in my truck. I can do it right now.
Exactly. And, we'll just carry a few of these. And probably if you're going to have a Nest in here, probably don't want your guys running around with half a dozen Nests on their truck. But you can have someone bring it at that point if you're going to sell something like that. Or, they can keep one or two. But absolutely, everything's here. The customer can make that choice. And then we can sign off on it right now and do the work right now before she goes back upstairs and thinks about it and decides, I really don't need all that. Now it's done. It is over with. So really cool there. And then, of course, if they want to see one of these, all we do is touch it, and it's going to go into that particular task. I don't know why the picture didn't come up there, but it's going to go into that task, and we can look at that task again. The pricing's all here. We can make it an add-on, do any of the kind of that stuff as well. Next thing we've made is once we add this to the invoice, you're going to see our recommended services. I always like to say we kind of, rip the page out of Amazon's book here. Tell the customer, normally we replace this motor. We do a pull and clean. Great place to have belts, pulleys, filters, capacitors, all that stuff you want to try and upsell here. And again, ma'am, normally we recommend this stuff. Well, what's the pull and clean? We can look at it. And today, since I'm already here replacing the motor, I'm going to offer it to you at a discount. And again, she sees it go from 187 to 112 or 215 to 229. And they really feel like, wow, they are really giving me a discount on this to do it today. So again, just a really powerful way to go ahead and sell that stuff here. And again, you're going to see the images with some sort of diagram or something most every single time here. Again, I usually like to kind of stop here because once we put this guy on the invoice, put him up here, we're completely back in the world of Service Titan, and I have no control, no functionality over anything that happens here. So again, just take a quick pause to see if there's any questions about anything we've looked at to this point.
I don't think so. I think most of my questions lie on the back end of how to manage, what gets shown, what the price is, all
Perfect.
that kind of stuff.
Perfect. I got two more quick things I really think are neat on this side that I want to show you, and then we'll jump right in and do all that stuff for you here. So very good.
And on here we can, the first two categories could be Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Absolutely. And what we'll do here, we'll leave it just like this. We'll take it a step further here. And there's only one book in this test account. But normally when you log in and go to dispatch the job, when you go into it, if there's more than one book, it'll ask you what book do you want to go to. It'll have a Minnesota book and a Wisconsin book. And then once they hit which book they want to go into, then it's going to bring up this screen. We'll have the screen the same for both books.
Okay.
So really, and once we get in the back, you'll see it. It's just as easy as us hitting the duplicate button, putting the other book in here, and setting a tax rate. We'll do that in the onboarding for you guys. It'll take just a few minutes. So super easy there. So one thing I want to show you guys, installs new equipment. We do have a complete section set up for new equipment. Everything is in here as full systems. Everything is SEER and then by tonnage. And these are going to include, your pads, your whips, your thermostats, sheet metal modification. Everything is in these systems for you guys. Obviously, we'll get them branded and pictures in for you as well. Also, everything's piecemeal, so you can sell just condensers, just evaporators, whatever you need. And we actually have it dual branded, so you can do two different brands of products through here. And then the other one I want to show you is this miscellaneous. This is just going to be filled with a bunch of stuff that you normally run into that you kind of don't think about. First, your customer supplied. I'm sure you have customers all the time have their own thermostats. They bought at Lowe's. They want you to put in that kind of stuff, all built up for you in here. Also, we're going to have your dispatch fees and then your demo and miscellaneous fees. This is full of access panel fees, recordings. If you need to, crawl into an attic, digging, scrap metal removal, all that kind of extra stuff here that we need to put on the invoice. Again, pre-made for you guys. And then the last one is what we call the grid matrix. And this is meant for just that task. No matter how many tasks we put in this book, Evan, eventually one of your guys is going to walk in somewhere and find something that we don't have a task for. This is set up to alleviate that problem. When your guy walks in, we have an hourly bill out rate and a standard parts markup set in the back. So he looks at this job, it's going to take me 45 minutes to complete this, your minutes per task, 45, and I'm going to need $100 worth of parts, your PRT 100. This is just going to build this task based on 45 minutes of labor and $100 of parts and how you have them set up in the back end. Now he can just change this to Mrs. Jones furnace clean out, whatever it may be here. And as long as they have an idea how long and how much parts, they should never, ever leave a house without leaving some kind of quote, invoice, something behind, which again is a big deal. Like we just talked about earlier, they're calling you to find different invoices, stuff like that, or different part numbers, parts costs. Now, worst case scenario, they make one phone call, says, how much is this part going to be if I need to do it? Say $100, put in the PRT 100, and you're never going to not leave a quote behind when you make a stop.
Cool. So it won't itemize it, but it will give them a price.
Exactly. It's going to just bill it straight off 45 and 100. Obviously, we can change this name so it doesn't come across as MPT 45 PRT 100. But exactly, it's not going to say thermostat, belt, capacitor, whatever the $100 worth of parts are. It's just going to say whatever you guys customize this name to be. But you're at least going to be able to price it, leave something behind.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I always thought that's a neat little way. And lastly, before I jump out, has Service Titan showed you how to do good, better, best in the estimating feature?
No. They have me in the academy. I'm just starting, going through the videos and the demos and everything like that. So I haven't gotten there yet.
So real cool. Well, I'll take a little off their plate here just because I can tell you really like this here. Sorry, I should have booked a job here quick. Let me take us a second. And basically, we're just looking to do options, good, better, best pricing for the customer here. So let's see if it'll book me out here. I can book the job. Sorry, my internet connection's something to be desired today. So once we've booked it out, dispatch ourselves out, we'll arrive. Yep. And now we want to give a customer price. We go in our estimates. This is where we make up the estimates for the customer. We can add an estimate here. We can do good, add items. It's going to just take us right to our price book. Sorry. Let's not do plumbing for you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Add this blower motor. Okay, we're done. Go back here. We're done. We have a good estimate. We can do another one. We can do a better. And once you've done these, you can actually save them in Service Titan, so you don't have to come in and do this every single job. You can kind of make the cookie cutter ones. We'll add this guy. We'll add the pull and clean as well. Done. I won't go any farther. You can do as many or as few as you want, but you can do your good, better, best options. And then when you're ready, you just hit the present button here. And it's going to present them to the customer. And then if you jump inside the view, it's going to show the image and description for everything included on those options. So just a really quick way your guys can make really nice, good, better, best options and present those to the customer out in the field as well. Just another cool sales tool that's built in for you guys here. So,
okay, cool.
So yeah, just something neat there. So that being said, let's jump in the web portal here. Give me just a moment. Times me out after 10 minutes, so let's just get logged back in before we have to pause at the end. So this is your web portal. This is where you're going to make all these changes. Assign the books, the categories, see what the text can see, do all that. First screen is business information. Again, here's where we can put in your hourly bill out rate. And then how we have it set up is will always be your value rate or whatever your lowest of the 3 rates you want to use is. And then for the next rate up, your standard rate, we're actually marking it up 15% off this rate is where we're coming up with the hourly rate. And for your nights, weekends premium, we're doing 25% above this rate here as well. Again, we can change this to 0 and just do a flat fee like you talked about, really set it up any way you want. And our guys will do the calculations to make these numbers right for you guys. Over here's where we're going to set the tax. Again, we'll just duplicate this and have 2 books for you guys to manage, which is no problem. But this way we can set the tax, cost or retail, parts, labor, or the full invoice. And then down here is how you have the parts marked up. I actually just spoke to a company last week, and this is how they marked everything up. They only make 40% profit, whether it's a wing nut or a water heater. I think that's a strange way to mark up your parts, but that's how they do it, and that's how they like it.
Really yeah, and I'm looking at mine in front of me here, and it's 0 to $4.99 is 3.25, $5 to $9.99 is 3, $10 to $19.99 is 2.75. Our markup gets less, but it's a bigger amount.
Probably similar to something like this here at the bottom.
Yes.
This is our standard chart. This is what 95+% of the people use. Again, some people like to do it differently, but really cool. And if you notice the difference here is I went between the heating and the plumbing book. This will allow us to let all these books operate independently. So we can do a different bill out rate for plumbing as opposed to heating or AC or new equipment, different service agreement discounts, different emergency hour rates. All these books will operate completely independent from each other. If you want to change these parts markups here, again, you can go in, you can change any of these metrics. You can do markup percentage, you can do a profit percentage, you can take these out, you can add more. The neat thing is if you want to play with your parts prices and it didn't go the way you want, this industry default will reset it to the way we're looking at it here every time. So don't be afraid to go in there and play with it. You can't hurt it. We can always reset it back to this chart. Last thing you're talking about as far as customization, changing your bill out rates, do that stuff. You want to change your hourly bill out rate here. We come in, we change this now to $190 an hour. I'm going to calculate business info. Takes just a couple seconds to update every single task in the heating book, now billed at $190. I'm going to sync it to ServiceTitan. Okay, your API key is going to be here. Hit OK. Again, 5 to 15 second sync, really depending on how much you changed. If you did a lot of pictures or something like that, it's going to take a little bit longer. Just a heads up. And then everything's in ServiceTitan. Have your guys sync their tablets, you're gone. You can make changes here in the price book at lunchtime, 12:05. Your guys are charging those new rates in the field. So really,
so there is no need to involve ServiceTitan. Like on, say that we're 6 months down the road, we want to make a slight change to our rate or our markup or something. We could make every single change within the web portal from you guys, and then sync it to ServiceTitan, and don't have to involve their implementation team or data experts at all.
Exactly. Kind of the old way, the way everyone else is doing it. We're the only group with an API now, and the old way we used to do it is we'd come here to the report screen, and then you'd pre-format it to go into ServiceTitan. We'd pull out the changes, and then you'd send that to your ServiceTitan rep. And then when your ServiceTitan rep got around to it, he'd put your new price book in there. Sometimes it took 2 hours. Sometimes it took 2 weeks. Now, again, we're taking ServiceTitan right out of it.
I know what we went through to put together a price book and get it uploaded to Pazerware before we went to ServiceTitan. And this is so much better. Oh my God.
Yeah, and the API is actually new. It's new just this year, but it makes the world of difference.
Oh my gosh.
We go with Successwares and Descos and Field Edges, and you guys, all these names here, and they all still do the file import. We actually just got an API with Field Edge that's going live at the end of the month. But yeah, the old way, you had to send a file, and then you hope the ServiceTitan rep puts the right file in and gets it right, and we got to communicate with them. And now it's just a super easy way to do it. So nice stuff there. Sorry, just go over my checklist, make sure we hit everything here. So yeah, any questions on the business information page?
Nope, not on this page.
Perfect. Next one here is manage book. And this is where we'll go ahead and manage your plumbing book, all your books here. Obviously, the last guy I talked to was a plumber. We're going to do just the opposite for you. We're going to turn the plumbing stuff off because we're not using it. We're not getting into it. We're going to turn your heating stuff on, your AC on, And let's say you do mainly electrical or AC work. We'll make AC number one. AC is going to show up front left in the book. So you guys control exactly what you see on the home screen. And then we go in, you can control what we see here. You don't do oil heat, we turn it off, nobody sees it. We go into forced hot air. For some reason, you don't want to do filters, turn it off, nobody sees it. And we can even go as far as the individual task level right in here. And where's that? Here's that 3rd horsepower motor. We can actually toggle that off and take it right out of the book as well. So you can control every single thing they see. It really kind of depends how deep you want to dive into these sections and tasks and turn things on and off. But there's nothing you can control that they see.
And are all of these parts, are they built, are they, titled and structured according to the spec of the part, or is it by manufacturer or supplier, or, because we didn't want to have, 5 different 1/3 horsepower,
nope,
blower motors.
Exactly. This is put in here generically. If you guys want to dive that deep, you can. But listen, those generic blower motors, they're all within $20, $25 a piece from each other. We just put them in at an average parts price and just kind of let them come out in the wash instead of having, a Rude 1/3 and a Train and a Lennox and a Mana. You nailed it right on the head. It's just an enormous amount of clutter that really isn't necessary. Let's make something that's friendly for the tech, friendly for the customer. And in the long run, if we lose $1 on this one and make $2 on the next one, it doesn't make any difference, right?
That's exactly the thought.
Perfect. I love it when people think the same way we do. That's not always the thought. Some people just can't put their head around not having 22,000 parts in this book, which is
right. And they can't get their head around, we could have made $20 extra on that one service call.
Yeah, on that one service call, but my guy spent 20 extra minutes finding the part, so he could have done an entire another service call that day after he looked for 5 things. So but again, it is what it is. You can lead a horse to water, they say, right?
Right.
Perfect. Next one here is tasks. This is where you're going to find all your tasks. This is where we can come in and manage those. Let's just jump in that blower motor since we've been stuck on that 3rd horsepower here all the way through. Yeah. Again, I apologize. My internet connection's a little lacking today. This is where I can come in now. I can change that description, secondary description, customer description. Of course, this is all done for you guys. Just depends how deep you want to get into it and change this stuff. Here's where that 90 minutes is. We can change this if necessary. Here's that add-on setup. This is where that difference in price is coming from. We're taking 15 minutes off. We want to give a bigger discount, we can make it 70. We want to give a smaller discount, obviously we can make it 80. This is where you can kind of work those discounts. And then down below is what parts are included in this task. Again, the beauty of flat rate, we sold a blower motor repair task that happened to include a capacitor and a belt that we got to sell without even having to push the customer for it. And then also along the lines what we just talked about, you're going to see miscellaneous parts on almost every job. You can see here there's 5 of them for a total of 60 cents. Again, we put every nut, bolt, screw, washer, standard, metric. It's just an enormous amount of junk that nobody needs. So you'll see this, I think it's anything under 18 or 22 cents is just a miscellaneous part you'll find in the book.
Okay.
So.
And for, the labor time that's associated with this, you can go in and obviously modify each individual one, but when you're talking, if we just want to cover our overhead, our sales and office time and stuff with our labor rates, can we trim down the amount of minutes?
Absolutely. You can come in here and you can do it individually. That's going to be kind of daunting. Here we have it set up. There's a group out there, Nexstar. You probably heard of them. Their thing is they only do wrench time. So we can actually set this. Every single task will only go to wrench time. Take that off everything. Or third, if we really need to mass update everything, let's come in here. Let's export the parts list and let's update it in an Excel sheet where we can mass update everything quickly and then just put it back in the system. And that's something we'll go over with you guys and do when we talk about Success Program. And if you guys go with us, we do walk you through what we call Success Program, which is really getting it set up, getting you guys so you can make these changes. You guys know how to operate this. And the whole point is kind of getting it ready for you guys. So you just have to kind of maintain it going forward.
Okay. Got it. But that's all, because right now we don't, labor time equals wrench time, and we just charge our labor rates to cover overhead, with admin, costs.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely.
but if we have the option to do it a little bit different, we can just, discuss that and
Discuss
see what we
it
want to do.
and see how it works. If it works great for you, awesome. Putting this extra time in. If we want to do the labor rate again, we have that one button we can click and turn the entire thing to just wrench time. So simple enough. And then if we want to just do a smaller amount, like there's 15 to 20 minutes built into every single task extra for your sales, your setup. So it's very simple to go in and just take that extra time off. Or instead of making it 15 minutes on everything, we just make it 10 minutes on everything, or whatever you
Sure.
really want to do. So easy enough there. Good stuff. Next one here is something you're actually going to really like. I think this is one of the most useful things in the whole book is the calculations. This is on every single task in the book, all 3,700 plus any new ones you build. And it's going to tell you right here what the parts cost you, which you sold them to the customer for, what the labor cost you, which you sold it to the customer for. And based on which one of these three rates you use, it's going to tell you what you make in dollars or in profit percentage when you go out and change this 3rd horsepower blower motor. Again, really nice to know where you're at on stuff you do a lot. You'll be amazed how many people have no clue how much money they make, if they make money, when they go out to do a job here. So again, just a really nice way to make sure you guys are staying profitable. You know what your numbers are here. And I always tell people, especially if you build a task from scratch, something brand new, look right at these lines here, and it's going to tell you if you built that task right or not by the profit percentages. So again, just a really neat way to make sure you're there. And then down here is same for the add-on. If we toggle that and make it an add-on, it's going to tell us what our numbers are here. Again, to make sure we're not giving away too much by offering that discount. So again,
Sure.
really cool to know what your profitability is on basically every single job. Next one is categories, and this is not fun at all. This is just telling us where we find it in the book. It's under heating, forced hot air, blower wheels, and motors. Assign category, we could assign it to another category. For some reason, we want to put it in AC, or we can duplicate it and have it in 2 places if we need. So just letting us know where we find it. Marketing is where we're going to pull up the upsells and cross-sells. The cross-sells are those recommended services, the pull and clean, the blower fan belt, that kind of stuff here. And then your upsell task, that's where I had the other motors put in there. Again, HVAC, not a lot of spots to put the upsell tasks in there. Again, thermostat's probably a great example. But if you want to add something, all you do is add tasks. It's going to pull up the whole task list here, and you just go ahead and hit a button. And now this partial house search will show up once you API and sync it. So super easy to update all your marketing stuff as well. And then images. This is the funnest part we're going to see today. Again, you control the images here. The drop-down box will control the order. You can download them from any kind of library. Manufacturers are really happy to send that stuff for you. Also, we are connected directly with Google Images. So you put in any word, part numbers, stock numbers, all work just fine. Google's going to pull the image. You grab them, you crop them, you throw them right in your price book. You're done. Takes just a couple seconds here to update images in your book. Works just the same if we put in a Mana Furnace, A15, it's going to pull that image. We can put it right in the price book. So really fun way to do that. Also, if you just want to mess with your guys a little bit, you can have a lot of fun with that feature there. And then last is accounting. I'm going to show you this. Before I do, all this is going to be done in ServiceTitan. You are not going to use this tab here. I guarantee it. People just get nervous when I skip a tab that says accounting. But this says pays commission, yes or no, no dollar amounts, taxable, yes or no, no dollar amounts. And then account is what bucket. So your heating can go to 1, your AC can go to 1. So you can kind of sort it to search it. Again, ServiceTitan's going to do all this stuff for you guys. You're really not going to use this tab at all.
Okay. So on the, on the accounting tab, it did say, taxable versus non-taxable. I would imagine all that is, just like you said, taken care of by ServiceTitan. So,
yep.
So if we don't do it here, where do you suppose we change taxable versus non-taxable on sections of the, would that be where we export, change everything, and then import it again?
Oh, as far as your book, yeah, no, when we set up that book, and that's a good question. Let's actually look at that here. What we'll do when we get a book for you guys here, price books here, you can see I have just a standard price book loaded here. All we'll do is duplicate this book. We'll change this to Minnesota book. We'll create another book, duplicate the one you have here, put it in, and we'll name it I'm sorry, Wisconsin book. I don't know what state you're born in. I apologize for that.
Yeah,
But
Wisconsin and Minnesota. Yeah.
it is Wisconsin, so not bad. My geography's not too bad. It's been a long time since I've been in school. So, but again, and then when they go up, there'll be a screen that'll pop up before they pop up to where the pictures are, and it'll just say Wisconsin book, Minnesota book. They push the book for which state they're in. It's going to bring up identical books. You're just charging different tax rates. Talk to your Service Titan rep. They'll get that hooked up. I believe we can actually use this, if we need to. Those taxable, non-taxable accounting tab. Just from what I understand from my onboarding, Service Titan just has a better way to do it than we really do. To be perfectly honest about it. So.
Okay, so we would load all these in as items in the price book, but within Service Titan we can mark them as taxable versus non-taxable.
Exactly correct. Yep, and you can mark that in Service Titan in the null. Again, I believe we can do it in here and it'll work just fine. But you're going to hit a double tax thing with Service Titan. So again, just ask them. My guys here again, we'll set it up. But from what I understand from them, it's just so much easier for you, especially with your accounting and stuff, to let Service Titan take care of the taxes and that stuff. So.
Sure.
Cool stuff. Any other questions here in the task section? I know that's kind of a lot of stuff all in one big pile there for you.
So the tasks is, it includes more than just the blower motor, the 3rd horsepower blower motor. So that's the complete thing. I guess what's the biggest difference between like the parts and the tasks within like Service Titan? If somebody looks and says, "Oh, I'm installing a 3rd horsepower blower motor," and they put in the task, and then also charge them for a run capacitor, belt, and whatever, isn't there a chance to be double billing for certain things?
Absolutely. And that's why, we have to mark them here and check them out, but we can see the parts in Service Titan. I'm just trying to jump in and see if I can in my demo account. Sometimes I can't see everything in my demo account, so let me just double check it real quick for you here.
Sure.
If not, we'll I'll have you get with your Service Titan rep and have them look at that. And I know where it is in our standalone. There's just a parts button you hit, and it's just going to tell you. It's obviously not going to tell you prices, brands, because we don't want the customer seeing that, going to Amazon, looking that stuff up, and be like, "Well, I can get this."
Oh yeah.
For $5. I'm sure you run into
That's
that.
That's the worst.
As well. So yeah, that's there. I don't see it popping up here. I would ask your Service Titan rep. I know there's a spot you can see it. And I think it's limited here. But yeah, absolutely. That's some vital information your tech needs to know what's included in these options, because we are selling them as group tasks, not as individual parts. Best thing to do is just make sure, obviously, we don't have the belt or the part or the capacitor in the upsells, the cross sells, your recommended services, and then probably your guys are just going to sell off that page. But definitely Service Titan and ask them where they're going to see those parts. I'm just looking at the task now, and I can't show it to you on mine. I
don't. Okay. Yeah, no problem.
I'm just sorry. I got my tablet up here at my desk. I'm just double checking to make sure I'm not wrong. Wouldn't be the first time I was wrong today, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. My wife will tell you. So, perfect. So yeah, that's where your parts all. Again, speak with Service Titan. They can show you that. I just don't have it on my demo account, I don't believe, here.
Okay. No worries.
Maybe it's actually on the invoice. Okay, sorry. I'll stop. I'll stop looking and pay attention to you again. I apologize for that. Next here is parts. Parts are parts. We do have all the parts loaded on a national average. First thing we'll do when we do onboarding with you guys is check and look at these. A lot of times they're really close to where you're at, and it's easier for everybody to just kind of leave them where they are if you're 5 or 10 cents off. If not, we'll work with you to get them adjusted right. Worst case scenario, we'll completely load a new parts list in for you guys and attach those to the jobs. Again, I think you're going to find most of the stuff is pretty close to where we need it to be here. The one thing.
Well, and I've heard too, like the the concern, for being competitive on service-related items is being within $100 of our competitors. I think it's more for the install, side, but if it's within $100, we don't need to be, exactly what our competitors are or less or anything. It's just within $100.
Exactly, and that's just going to come down again. Their national averages, they may be way off. I've run into people where they just if they're in Manhattan or in Los Angeles somewhere where things are just 10 times more expensive than everyone else. So we got to change it. Also in Greenbow, Alabama, things aren't very expensive, so sometimes the parts prices are just way too high as well. But for the most part, and again, in our success program, it's something we'll work out with you and make sure we get them where you want them and an acceptable level for you guys. So.
Okay.
Update cost by product line. This is something we built for copper refrigerant R22s. I come in here, copper fittings and pipe went up 5% last month. Update it. It's going to update every single piece of copper, whether it's 10 feet of pipe or just a little elbow of fitting, something like that. It's going to update it by 5% and price it according to whatever parts markup you have set on the business information page. Really
Okay.
cool. Go just one touch, do this stuff. You can imagine, the amount of time to update every copper task. You're obviously not going to do it. You're just going to make a little less on copper. Now we can really be in real time with that kind of stuff. Also, when you get your new equipment in here, Amana has a 12% increase across the board. We hope they don't do that. It's a lot, but we can come in here and update every Amana piece of equipment by 12% in one keystroke, as opposed to going through task to task and doing all that stuff. So.
Okay. So,
really,
and if we have a spreadsheet of, Lennox equipment, because we're a Lennox dealer, if we have a spreadsheet of that, can we, if you give us the right template to put some of that information into, can we just import that into the web portal?
Absolutely. Excel is the format we put everything in here just because that's the most common for everyone. And yeah, we can put all that information in. Then we just have to attach some pictures, maybe write a description if necessary, and all that stuff will be here. And that's something they will do for you guys in that success program I've been referring to here. We actually have an entire meeting week scheduled just to do your install book, and that's exactly what they're going to do. You're going to get the information on your new equipment, and so it doesn't say brand A heat condenser. We want it to say Lennox comfort system, not brand A, 15C or 8 ton or whatever it is. So that's what they're going to do in that process.
We want the SLP 98V instead of the generic one.
Yep, exactly. So that's something we'll do. And like I said, we actually have an entire meeting, and it's an entire week 2, dedicated just to new equipment for you guys. So pretty big deal to get that stuff in for you folks.
Okay.
Really cool there. Option boards, we're going to talk about these. We do have pre-built option boards for our standalone product, good, better, best pricing. Due to limitations in the software, they do not go into ServiceTitan. However, we can do the good, better, best in the estimate like we looked at. These boards you can copy into ServiceTitan and have them saved. It's something you have to manually do, but we will leave them here if you guys want to copy them. I've heard some crazy stories how people have got it over. They pay their nieces and nephews video games and things to come in and copy all this stuff. Again, it's software limitations and it won't go there, but you guys are paying for the content. We're going to leave this open for you guys to see. And again, if you want to take some stuff out of here, feel free to do so. The next two here, our standalone product is a web-based, cloud-based system that holds their customers, their invoices. This is all that stuff that you're going to see there. This is the only time you'll ever see these two tabs. When we go to ServiceTitan, these two won't even exist for you, but I just hate skipping stuff. And then lastly is reports, and I just don't have a fun way to talk about reports. The reports are not fun. But this is where we can import any parts list, import a task list. If you guys have specialized tasks that you do that we don't have in the book, again, your Lennox stuff, we can load that all in here. We just got to attach those pictures, the descriptions, we're good to go. If you ever want to put your customers in, we can do that. Again, that's going to go in ServiceTitan. We're going to import through Excel, all this stuff here. And again, if we want to pull anything out, we can pre-format it. If you want to pull the stuff from here for your QuickBooks for some reason, we can do it here. If there's an emergency and for some reason the API is down, we can pull the file out pre-formatted for ServiceTitan, so we can send that into ServiceTitan if we need to. So again, this is just where you're going to pull all your reports, import any reports and tasks, and everything is done in an Excel format unless we pre-format it here to the right.
Okay.
And then the sync, we talked about that already. Direct API integration. only ones that got it. So that's pretty cool stuff there as well.
So the new what? The new flat rate?
Yep.
Does not have that?
Does not have that. When you need a change in the new flat rate, you have to call the new flat rate. They make the change. They change the file. They send the file to Service Titan. Your Service Titan rep then loads it in. That's how we've done it until, honestly, about 4 to 6 weeks ago. That's how everybody is. So, yeah.
And how's that been going for you in terms of, getting everything to reliably sync with Service Titan?
To this point, as far as I know, no problems. I'll be honest, that's the whole other side of the room that takes care of that stuff. But I hear it pretty quickly when it comes back to the customers because I'm the one they call back. So we haven't really had any problems with it. I mean, we did have a few growing pains in the beginning, which, unfortunately is just expected when you build an API like this. But so far, so good. And honestly, as a salesman, I love having it because it really gives us a leg up on everybody else.
It sells itself.
It sure does. It sure does. I get to eat steak once a week because of it now, so it's a good thing.
Right.
So
last, I think the last question I have for you, what is the cost per month?
Nobody just gives me their credit card. Everybody wants to know all that stuff. The cost per month here, I actually think you're going to find it pretty reasonable for what we offer. $179 a month. That is, again, a monthly charge, but that's unlimited text, unlimited office staff from now. If you double in size, next year, you're still only $179 a month. Another great thing we do is this is a month-to-month service. You are not committed with this for 6 months, a year, anything like that. For that purpose, we do a one-time fee for the success training, which is $12.99, and that is really here just to cover all your trainings, building the book, setting that stuff up for you guys, just to cover our costs up front here to train you guys. Again, and you're looking at a flat $179 a month for the entire company going forward.
Okay.
Also, just so you know, if you're involved with one of these groups here, that entitles you to $200 off this as well. It gets that down to $10.99 for the upfront.
Okay. Is that an exhaustive list there?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I don't recognize anything, but maybe the owners will.
Maybe the owners will, and I'll tell you what. I'll be honest with you, Evan. I have no way to check. If you tell me yes, I really can't verify it. So
okay.
I'll throw that out there for you.
I'll do some digging.
Sure. So again, really, that's all I have for you. Unless there's anything we want to go back and look at, or any more questions, just kind of let me know where you're at. But
yeah, and I think this has been it's been good to see it. Seeing the back end of it was a big thing of what I wanted to see. So I think you answered most all my questions. I'll let you know if anything comes up afterwards.
Awesome. Well, great. What we'll do?
I got the call. I have a call on Wednesday for the price book for Service Titan in the afternoon. So I think by then we're hoping to make a decision on this.
Perfect. So if you have any questions, if we need to jump back on a share later tonight or tomorrow or something, or even Wednesday and look at something again, let me know. My job here is to answer your questions, show you everything, facilitate that. So just reach out if there's anything we can do. Otherwise, I'll just kind of let you guys talk about it, get with Service Titan. If I haven't heard from you by maybe Thursday, I'll check back in and just see how it went. But yeah, in the meantime, I'll just kind of give you guys a little space and let you guys make a decision on what you want to do here, and we'll just take it from there.
Okay, that sounds good.
Perfect. Well, hey, Evan, I appreciate everything. I'm glad I changed your name from Evan to Even because that was driving me nuts still. And Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll shoot you out a quick email when we're done here with all my direct contact info so you can reach right out. I am on the East Coast. I'm not sure where you're in Wisconsin.
Central,
yeah, Central. If it's in the evening or afternoon, sometimes email is better. I check that from home all night. I obviously don't sleep at my desk here, so I don't get the phone all the time. So, yeah, if you have a question in the evening, I usually almost always see it, and I'll get right back to you. So email's probably better in the afternoon. Other than that, like I said, let me know, and I will check back in with you guys Thursday if I haven't heard.
Okay, that sounds real good.
All right. Appreciate everything, Evan. Have a good day.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye.